Um, I'm excited for you guys to hear from my friend Erin today. Let me give you a quick intro because I know she's going to tell you a little bit more about yourself. But I always think of Erin as like being in my pledge class, kind of, because we both went diamond right around the same time. But not only that, both of us had like professional careers prior to Plexus, and we both had final babies together, final baby girls. In fact, Erin, I feel like, here's the deal. I can't remember if I was pregnant with Mary, or if I had her already. I just remember us being at a dinner in Dallas and you were like sitting there nursing. And I think I might've been pregnant, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, we both just kind of had the same stuff going on. And Erin is a kindred spirit. She is very smart. She has done a lot of presenting at corporate events. She's also real. She's really real. And she lives now in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm going to get her to tell more for sure, but she's a wife. She's a mom of 4 boys and girls. And I'm just really, honestly, when she told me what she was talking about, I was like, well, this is for me today. So I'm really excited for y'all to hear from her. And we are recording, so we will post this later. But Erin, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you and just let you share from your heart and tell them a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I was so honored when Becky asked me to come and share with you guys. And this is actually a topic I've never shared in this type of a format before. So I really had to kind of sit down and think through what I wanted to share. But before I get to that, let me tell you a little bit about myself. So I joined Plexus in 2013. And my previous life, I was a pharmaceutical sales rep for the company that makes Enfamil baby formula. I'm a registered dietitian. And I have an undergraduate degree in exercise science, and then got my master's in nutrition, became a dietitian, worked for Mead Johnson was the name of the company. And then they asked me to come to the headquarters in Indiana, and it was a management candidate program. So this idea was to come into the headquarters, they develop you to become a district manager, and then they spit you back out and you have responsibility over a district. And John and I had been married for a few years, didn't have any kids yet, and it just seemed like a really great opportunity for us. So we did that. We ended up living in Indiana for about 6 years. And during that time, I got my MBA at WashU in St. Louis. I ended up I was just sort of successfully climbing the corporate ladder, doing everything they told me to do. I was getting cross-functional experience in marketing and other parts of the organization. And I was like married to Mead Johnson. I just wanted to be with them for my entire life. And I really believed that the corporate world was really, and this, you guys, I'm not proud of this, by the way, but was really the only respectable way to make an income was the way I was doing it, by climbing the corporate ladder, doing something that was very directly related to the degrees that I had worked so hard for and all of that. And then I had our oldest daughter, Claire, and things kind of started shifting for me. I started realizing that I was traveling a ton because I did eventually become a district manager, and I happened to have a specialty sales force that just called on large teaching institutions and neonatal intensive care units. So there was me and my counterpart, and we split the entire country. So I had the West, which included Atlanta, if you know your geography. Atlanta's not very west. But she had like the Eastern Seaboard, which if you think about the concentration of people in the Northeast and large teaching institutions, it made sense. But after having Claire, I was traveling so much and just started to begin to realize that my priorities were shifting. And then I also, they always say you don't quit your job, you quit your manager. Well, I had one of those managers, and it was like God was just creating this turmoil in something that I'd always been focused on. And I knew I was going to retire from this company. And I honestly loved the company. I loved the people for the most part, and the work. I mean, it's very rewarding work. But I just started like realizing this isn't working anymore. And then we had our second baby, John Parker, in Indiana. And after I came back from maternity leave with him, I just literally, I gave my 2 weeks and just walked away. And everybody was like, what are you doing? I mean, some people were kind of mean, like, you've done all this education, all these years you put in, you're just like forfeiting all of that. And honestly, I kind of, at the time I felt the same way. Like, what a waste of time and effort and money to get all of this training and then end up just walking away to be a stay-at-home mom, which I knew I was absolutely called to do. And I was truly just trying to be obedient. But at the same time, you sort of mourn the loss of what was. And so that was in 2010, 2011. And then we moved back to Oklahoma, which is where we're originally from. And I was honestly had really embraced the role of stay-at-home mom. I was happy. We were poor. We were like, income was a major issue because my husband was starting from scratch with his real estate. But I knew I was doing the right thing. And then I started watching a couple of my college friends posting about Plexus. And we even would have girls' weekends and they would talk about it. And I was like, what in the world are they doing? First of all, it's they're nutritional products. I'm a dietitian. We're trained to be skeptical. So hello, why don't you guys ask me about this stuff? You know, you're crazy. What is this weight loss scheme you're doing? So I was very judgmental and very resistant to even being open to Plexus. In the meantime, though, I'm starting to look for ways to make money that were going to be taking me away from my little kids again, whether it's consulting or really anything that I was looking at and that I had experience in, I felt like was just going to get me right back to where I had been before. So my husband actually, I was pregnant with our third baby about a month from delivering. And this was 2013. And he was like, my husband said, would you please just buy the products for me? I want to try them. Well, he also was college friends with these two friends of mine. He was watching them. And the two friends are Celeste and Jen Hawkins. So we're seeing this massive success that they're having. John's eyes are like, woo, because he's entrepreneurial. I'm like in my box, in my corporate box. Don't ask me to do this. He's like, Erin, there's so much opportunity and potential with this. So I purchased the products, and my only goal was to lose baby weight as soon as I delivered the baby. And then his goal, I thought, was to get healthy, but it was really just to like trick me into joining. That's what I think. But so I did, got on the products, and within 6 weeks, I was back to my pre-pregnancy weight. And so then I'm like, okay, I want to keep using this stuff. So I just started very gently sharing on Facebook. And you guys, honestly, it just started snowballing. And I had friends that respected my background, but also knew that I wouldn't be doing something like this if I didn't really, feel confident in what I was promoting. I actually looked into the products and saw that they were really, really good, that they got to the root cause of issues. That, for me as a dietitian, was something I could completely get behind. And just began ranking up. I hit diamond in April of 2016. So it was about 18 months, something like that, 2 years. I think that's right. And looking back on it, obviously, here I thought I was forfeiting all my hopes and dreams of ever having a successful career. And it's my favorite part about all of that time I thought I had wasted. It was really just preparing me to be able to do this, just like all of you guys, whether it's the relationships that you're building, whether it's the education that you're getting, whatever that is, learning to lead people. There's just so many different things experiences that we gather with our past that set the stage for Plexus and to be successful in Plexus. But I also realized that how I had defined success was climbing the corporate ladder. and getting that next promotion. But in reality, when I didn't have that anymore, and I really started thinking about what really lights my fire, I figured out that it was more to do with doing work that I felt mattered, being with my family, obviously, and being able to be a stay-at-home mom and be present for them. But then also just being able to help others as a dietitian with their health, or helping people achieve whatever financial goals that they have, but just that satisfaction of being able to actually help people. So that kind of thing, that's sort of my background and my Plexus story. But I think what I want to share with you guys today more has to do with from 2016 to today. So here we are, 2023. I've been a diamond for, I just realized, May 1st will be my diamond, or April 30th will be my diamond anniversary. So that's hard math for us. 7 years a diamond. They said I was smart, but I can't. No, so you guys, so you've always heard that whatever gets you to, I'm just going to use diamond, but maybe you're a senior gold or a ruby or whatever. The team you have that gets you to diamond is not the team that's going to keep you at diamond. People had said that to me and I was like, yeah. But the last 7 years have been much greater growth for me personally than the years that I had leading up to diamond as far as my Plexus life. And some of the things that I learned, so I have not always held diamond, and I'm currently not holding diamond points. And so that's something that I had a lot of shame around for a long time. Whenever my points dipped below 4,500, it was like my whole identity with Plexus was gone. I had tons of shame, like around the trip to Hawaii when the diamonds were getting to do special things. Well, I'm a diamond, but I'm not holding diamonds, so I'm not. There's just all this. Whoa, it was awful. And I haven't not been diamond that whole, like, there will be months I'll hit diamond and then I won't, and then I'll hit diamond and then I won't. And my mood, whenever my points were looking good, my husband, I mean, he could call it. He's like, your points are looking good, aren't they? Because toward the end of the month, I was happy and I was light and playful and fun with the kids. But boy, whenever it was looking like I wasn't going to hit it, he could tell. I was a bear. I was foul. I was short-tempered, just, weepy, just frustrated. And it took a while of that occurring where God was like, Erin, like, Plexus has become your idol, and you are focusing actually maybe Plexus, but diamond has become your idol. And you're focusing so much on that you're completely missing out on everything I'm trying to teach you. All the people that I've put in your path to love on and minister to. You're so focused on striving for those points and striving for that business that you're completely missing out on what it is that I'm doing. And so and listen, that didn't just happen overnight. That was like a process of months of like just torture. And so I have been a believer since I was 8 years old. I asked Jesus into my heart at GA camp, and I grew up in a church-going family, and I know all the things that you're to do. I've not ever been really consistent at spending time in prayer, and I'm kind of sporadic about it. I exercise every day, so I can be consistent on things. I can be driven with things, but this was just an area that I would, frankly, I'm like, these are things I've not ever shared with anybody. I'm a driver, achiever, like Enneagram 3, like make it happen girl. And prayer seems so ambiguous to me. Like I couldn't see a direct correlation between my time spent in prayer and the outcome. Well, part of that was because I wasn't doing it consistently. part of it too was because I wasn't looking for those answered prayers and recording those and like looking on, in a prayer journal, like I asked for this and look, it happened. Now I also asked for this and it hasn't happened. But in that process, what's God teaching me? Maybe it won't. That's okay. I trust him. So the beginning of this year, I decided to really get focused on prayer and praying for my business, praying for all types of things, but my business obviously rolls up under that. And it's not me like trying to bribe God, like, hey, if I am consistently praying, will you get me back to diamond? That's not at all. I promise you, that's not where my heart is. But I just really learned a lot in the last 3 months. And I wanted to share some of the things that I've learned. And listen, I'm like in all humility here. Like please don't walk away from this time feeling like shameful or guilty. If you just take away one thing and you're like I'm gonna work on that area, or I'm gonna try there, or that's an area. Maybe you're super, super consistent at praying for your business or really trusting God with it. But maybe there's one little thing that you're like, I hadn't thought of that. So that's my hope here, that we just can really recognize the power that we have at our fingertips. So this is a little prayer journal that I discovered. I asked on Facebook, what prayer journal do you use? And one of the girls on my team recommended this one. It's from a company called Val Marie Paper. Have you guys ever heard of this? I love this journal. So just let me tell you really quickly what it's about. So if you buy you one, you can. So each month you start out and there's an adoration section. This is where you just meditate on the quality of God, like that he is able, or that he is my defender, or whatever it might be. And then some scripture that backs that up. So this is just like praising him for who he is and what he does. And then it's really neat because it's divided into sections, like my challenge. And this is where you sort of challenge yourself from a prayer standpoint, consistency, or time spent, or whatever. That can be totally up to you. And then there's different areas. So like some prayers for your world and nation, prayers for your community, your church. And then over here is my loves. So my kiddos, my husband. Down below is my family. So this would be more of my extended family, like my mom and my dad, my sisters, my nephew and nieces, things like that. Sweet friends. And this has really been a blessing because last month I listed some of my close friends and then reached out to them and said, hey, I'm doing this. Is there anything I can be praying for you about? And for them, I mean, they were just like, oh my gosh, I love this. Thank you. And also for me, I don't know, just on a different level, you understand what they're experiencing and going through. People that you're praying for their salvation, and then things that are heavy, like hurts, just to be praying for. And then it goes into more personal stuff. This is where I put my plexus stuff, and just like specific goals. I like to pray specific things like so-and-so that is shooting for Senior Ruby. So-and-so hits Senior Ruby by May 31st, like real specifics. And then some little extra areas. But here's the best part, answered. So as you're going, you see God answering prayers, then you start writing down what he's answered. And you guys, last month, it was so fun. I'm obviously not going to share the specifics, but look how many answered prayers that I had just from things that I had been, talking to him about. So if you are a praying person and you want to do more in this area, here are I wanted to give you 5 things that you can be thinking about as you're approaching your business through prayer. So the first one is, first of all, just to have an understanding of ownership. So we always say we own our own business, right? This is our business, we own it. But I think it's so important to daily lay it down, daily give it over to God. Ask him for his wisdom, ask him for his insight. Make sure that the decisions and the choices that we're making on a daily basis about our business are coming from wisdom that we're getting from him. The other thing is daily ask him to reveal what areas of my business am I not giving over to you? And it could be a lot of things. we're working with a lot of people, right? And people can be challenging. Some people can be challenging. That was something whenever I was managing a team, just like not everybody thinks like I do, and not everybody operates like I do, and not everybody is driven, or the things that float my boat float their boat. But that's an area of our business that we really need to, like, if there's someone that I'm not leading well, God, reveal that to me. If there's someone that needs encouragement that I don't know, Lord, please reveal that to me. Those are the kinds of things that you just want. If there's any blind spots in your business, just revelation so that you can be aware of that and love on them. Because as leaders, that really is critical. That we, and I know you guys have probably heard this, I was very transactional early on. Like, it's the 29th of the month. How many points can I get out of you? Calling them up. Hey, I noticed so-and-so has 99 PB. What are you going to do to get them to 100? It's like very transactional. And again, part of that driver in me of like, let's get this done. I really realized that, number one, a lot of people don't respond well to that. It makes them think that the only reason I like them is because I get points from them, which is not the case. But I've got to show them that throughout the rest of the month, right? I've got to like truly care about people. And that's one of my greatest learnings with all of Plexus, is the people part and just loving people. And God has given us this opportunity as a ministry to be able to love on people, whether it's encourage someone on my team. Becky and I had hours, it was several hours at the airport coming back from Super Saturday. And that conversation, I walked away so encouraged by my time that I got to have with Becky. So we're not on the same team, we're sidelines, but just being able to like love on people, she did that for me. So I think that's really important, is just on a daily basis, is to understand when we say we own our business, the ownership is, there's this aspect of laying that down at his feet every single day and asking him to guide you and lead you and be and reveal the things that need to be revealed to you. The next one is setting and keeping boundaries. So this was something that, with being a stay-at-home mom of 4 kids, especially in the summertime, I found that I was like, no, shh, no, back. And it was all day long because I was striving so much and I was working so much and I was constantly like needing to be on my computer, needing to reach out to people, or needing to do this or that I didn't have good, clear boundaries for me or for them. And then even whenever I would put my phone away and go play cards or go whatever, my brain, my mental, I also wasn't doing a good job of setting mental boundaries. And so it's important that we do that, because for me, that was a lot of the irritation and short-temperedness, and all of that was just, they were infringing on what I was trying to accomplish, when they really are the most important thing. They're the whole reason that I chose to be a stay-at-home mom, right? They're the whole reason I chose to forfeit that career that I'd been building for so long. So I just think it's important to have physical boundaries. So, you guys know, put your phone away, set your office hours, whatever, but also mental. When you shut off work, really like evaluate, am I staying in this mental space where I'm fully present with my kids, with my husband, with my family, whatever that might be. We're all a bunch of driven people, but I read this and it was like, whoa, that'll preach. So we are a driven bunch who dream big and find kingdom work more important than the little souls we're stewarding at home. We would never say that, but our distractions do. So if you don't find the work you're doing to be more important than the little souls that you're loving on at home, then don't let your actions say that to them. Make sure that priorities are priorities. And this is something that I'm like preaching to the choir right here. I very much have struggled with this. I feel like I'm in a good place now. I've set some good boundaries. But they're also all four at school all day. So I have a little bit more time to get the things done that I need to. The other thing that I want you guys to really think about is praying that you'll be filled with God's creativity and not the creativity of others. Now, we are One Plexus, and it's actually one of my favorite things about our organization. We share. We're willing to share. We share ideas. It does help us to work smarter, not harder. But don't let that be the only way that you work your business. You have to think about what is your unique gifting? What could you be bringing to the table, especially from a creativity standpoint? If somebody else has created a really great IPA challenge, you don't have to use it. That doesn't have to be how maybe you look at it and you're like, this just doesn't really feel like me. This isn't what I would do. Don't do it. God has uniquely gifted you. And the other thing that really just sort of blows my mind is the fact that, the creator of the universe, he created you and me and these precious children we see. And even right now, everything blooming, beautiful, like all the trees, and we have red buds. That's the Oklahoma State tree. And dogwoods are blooming like crazy. And just the creativity that you see, we have access to that. He is the most creative being, and we have access to him. So yes, I do think that it's good to that we share, and I do think we should share. But I also just want to challenge you that not to rest on that, but to use your creativity to work your business. If you're called to do something, if you're called to bring a group of people on your team together and coach them, do it. So that's where your relationship and your prayer time, you've got to really be listening. What is it that I should be doing? God, what are you leading me to do with regard to my team? Just because Becky does coaching groups, that doesn't mean that Erin has to do coaching groups, unless that's what God's calling me to do. And then I better do a coaching group. So just let your creativity go, and don't think that just because everybody else is doing it, that's absolutely what I have to do, because that's not the case. The next one is have an accurate view of success and failure. So this is what I was talking about earlier, about my success was defined at 4,500 points. And if I was above 4,500 points, it was just the cherry on top. But if I was at 4,499, then all of my value, all of my worth went down the tank. And that doesn't make sense. It's not true. No, it was a lie that Satan was telling me, that my worth was in having 4,500 points, and it's not the case. My moods, my faith was dictated. My level of faith was dictated by whether or not I was hitting diamond. It's just looking back on it, I get it. And I have a lot of compassion for myself, but it was ridiculous. I'm so thankful. I'll say this. I'm so thankful that I've gotten past that, and I've really bigger picture that's not why I'm here. And that's not why God has given me the opportunity with Plexus. The reason that I'm here and he's given me this opportunity is to love on people and to help people and bring more people to him. So that's what defines success for me now. So those are the things that I just wanted to share with you guys. Now, I will say a couple of verses that I think are really great that you might want to jot down. You can look them up later. I'll read this one. I love Psalm 16:11. It says, "You will make known to me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. In your right hand, there are pleasures forever." So just meditating on that my joy comes from him. It does not come from the points on my dashboard at the end of the month. Now, does that mean I just throw it all and be like, who cares? Doesn't matter. We'll just check it on the last day of the month and see how things went. No, because do everything that do it as if unto the Lord. And he has given me this opportunity, and he's given me this platform with all these people that are on my team. So I have a responsibility to love on them and help them. There are so many more people out there, you guys, that need these products, that need this business opportunity. And we should all be very, very proud of that we have that to offer and that we can do that. But just knowing that at the end of the day, my joy comes from him. And then a couple of others, 2 Timothy 1:7 is a great one. And then Philippians 4:6. And then Becky, I'll send you, I've got like 3 or 4 others that are good ones too, but I just thought that those were 3 that kind of really stood out to me and seemed the most relevant. So let me just recap very quickly the 4 areas to be praying over. Have an understanding of ownership. So laying it down at his feet every single day, setting and keeping good boundaries, being filled with his creativity, not the creativity of others, and then having an accurate view of what he says is success and failure, not what Plexus says. So that's why, and like I said, that's the first time I've ever shared any of that, but it's just really where my head is right now. And I'm hoping that maybe one of you, that was helpful for you as well. So
I love it, Erin. I was on a walk right before this and I was praying and I was telling God, I was like, my love language is when people say, I've never told anyone else this. I feel so like cup filled. So obviously I've heard you and I have talked a lot about this stuff before. Guys, I want to open it up to some questions for Erin, if you've got any. And if you've got them, just jump right in. Don't sit with them for a long time. We're all friends and family here. So who has a question?
I have a question / comment for my girl, Erin. I want to tell you how proud of you that I am. And I love, so Erin and I were in a diamond mastermind, gosh, years ago now. And we were at the same point in our business then, both striving to re-rank diamond from a different place. And I am very much where you are right now of like, I've been going about this the wrong way. And I love that, like, we have evolved and gotten to this place of like giving it to him and working from this place. And it feels so much healthier to not be hitting diamond and be going for something with his will and working with him rather than striving in a transactional business and relationship. So I so resonated and hung on every single word. I'm exactly where you are. I'm so proud of you. And I was like, girl, so thank you. Thank you for being honest and real and just being who you are. I just appreciate it. You made cleaning tile in my bathroom so much better.
Well, thank you. Yes, we did that mastermind in 2020, right before all the things. So thank you, Brooke. I appreciate that.
I love it, Brooke. Who else? Christy?
Okay. So this is really cool because this, I've been doing the past 3 months, coaching with the Rainies, Kyle and Casey. And a lot of what we do, what he talks about is everything that you've said. And really just determining, changing your focus on what success truly is and what it looks like. And my question is that you've made a pivot, so to speak. How do you help your team pivot? How do you duplicate this? I mean, by doing, like, for me, I'm a Ruby. I have a couple girls under me, but with the same thing, my points kind of crashed and burned. Anything I built up this last year, I'm back down to how I was a year ago. Just a lot of life has happened, but instead of letting it crush me or, take me out, I have tried to see it from a different perspective and just see different success and different, like the girls that started with me, are like going to church and they're doing devotionals and things like that. And we talked about Jesus and they're young mamas. So it's really, I kind of feel like God gave me, a ministry in itself in that way. But how do you help them pivot? Like, am I making sense? Like, I want them to be able to see things like this too, because they'll get discouraged. I didn't hit the goal. I didn't get the points I wanted to. I haven't re-ranked. And I talk to them a lot about seeing success in a different way, in a different light. And how do you go about doing that with your team, duplicating that?
Well, I think that's a great point, and it's a great question. For me, I think the more you say it, the more you share that message, and the more you encourage them around that, it's going to sink in. So it's kind of like your children. You feel like sometimes like going over their head, but eventually then you see some fruit and you're like, okay, that sunk in, that it resonated with them. And sometimes it takes that long just for them to also, begin to believe it. Always asking good questions and trying to get to the root of what they're feeling and what's, if they're discouraged or if they're like pulling back or having thoughts of like quitting or things like that. I think it's always good just to ask some good questions to try to dig to the underlying, issue. I think it's really important for you as a leader to realize that in some instances, I mean, you can do everything that you can do. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying, the people that got me to Diamond aren't the people that are keeping me at Diamond. And I have had a huge wave of growth in a leg of my team that like she's been with me for a long, long time. But it was just a new person, a new couple of people that came on that are fired up and excited. And those people are out there. And so I think what's a lot of times, like we hold so tightly to the people that got us to, I'll just say to Diamond, I held so tightly to those. I had like 8 or 9 senior rubies that were huge in getting me to Diamond. Well, now if I look, I don't know that any of them are, I'm sitting here trying to think. I don't think any of them are still working their business. They're still taking the products, but, getting up to 750 plus points and now being back down at 100 or 200 points. I had to realize like I'm the one holding on tightly to them. So in some instances, it's a person that's just not, I mean, maybe God's leading them in a different direction. That is not our business. Our business is just to do what we should do. And so it could just be that right around the corner is the next person that you get to help and the next person that's going to come into your life that you get to partner with and grow to whatever that might be. I always leave the door open to like welcome people back in because life, things ebb and flow. But I think it sounds like you are just staying so focused on the big picture of what it is that you're doing here and what you're trying to achieve. And the people that God places on your team to do it with you, that's up to him. You just get to, be a part of it. So I don't know. It was probably a really roundabout way to answer your question, but that's how I think about it and approach it. So.
Who else?
Erin, I'd love to ask, I mean, I love you so much just as a friend, but in a business sense, as a 3, so you're an achiever, you're probably going after the incentives monthly, you're still adding level 1s, you're still doing how do you balance that with team? Because I would say generally in here, and it'd be interesting to hear from everybody participating, if you think that you focus more on your personal business or on your team business, but when you're trying to you do still have like this achiever mentality of, I still want to have those 4,500 points, but really what I want is 5,000 points and 6,000 points. So there's that gap. So really, because there is security in a way at that point in just your business. How much do you focus on your personal business and growing those new people? Kind of like what you talked about, like there's still people out there. Like how much do you focus on that? And how much do you focus on my team call? My team needs growth. I know your team, does in-person events and they are spread all over the place. I know, probably most of your leaders actually aren't in the Tulsa area. So how do you actually balance growing the massive team and still doing your business? Like, do you have kind of like a schedule for that?
So that was part of my striving, is I felt like I was just running myself ragged, and I felt like I was never doing enough. And that's also kind of an Enneagram 3, like never, ever, ever doing enough. Always more I could be doing, and always parts of the business that I'm not managing well. So one of the biggest things that one of the things I realized is I needed peace around my business, because it was causing me a lot of anxiety and like frustration and shame. And so what Brooke was talking about earlier, that process, that mastermind group that I was in, was kind of the beginning of the shift for me of trying to find peace in my business. And so one of the things that has been great for me, and I know not everybody wants to do this or can, is getting an assistant to help me with all the stuff that I wasn't necessary for. And so that's been huge for me, because then I have like in the back of my mind, all this stuff is getting done with regard to making sure nobody's falling through the cracks on my team. So that's been huge for me. But I also realize that I do need to be adding new people, but at the same time, I'm not going to add enough people in a month to get me back to diamond. And so there's just that sort of awareness of like, there has to be a little bit of both. And sometimes I get in a mode where I'm like, I've been doing this forever. Do I still have to keep adding level ones? Like, when is it going to stop? But I'm wise enough to know that the same team that got me to diamond isn't going to keep me there. So there's always this desire to get more people. And when I got the shift in my brain of, Erin, who can you help? In my prayer journal, it doesn't say, I want 3 new VIPs. It says, bring me 3 people to help this month. Like, who needs this month? I don't want it to be a random person that I'm having to bribe with a deal so that I can get the spa gift card. I really want it to be someone that like really, really needs these products. So that's a very different mindset. And then the exact same thing is true with business builders. Like, God, who needs this business? Who needs my help in figuring out how to do this business? So that's just been a shift. So it is a balance for sure. And it ebbs and flows. So interestingly, Andrea, I do want to say, yes, I got the iPad. And I want my team to see, look, Erin's still working. Erin also got the iPad. But the thing that's more, it's not so much me getting the shiny object. For me, it's the recognition about getting the shiny object. And that's just my personality. Like, I like I think this is true with lots of like Enneagram things, is like when you actually say them about yourself, you're like, ooh, that doesn't really paint me in a very good light. But it's just the truth. I am driven by recognition and people saying, wow, she is a good speaker, or wow, she achieved XYZ. That's just that's something that floats my boat. So them dangling the shiny objects in front of me is good from the standpoint of, I want to get them so that everybody knows I got them. But I also really, really want to I daily lay it at his feet, and I daily am like, okay, this isn't all about me. This is about who I can help through the business or through the products. So I don't know if that, again, roundabout way of answering your question, but that's sort of how I approach it.
Any other last questions for Erin? It could be a big one or a small one. I have a quick thought for
Question,
you.
but I have a comment. Sorry, I'm not going to come on camera because I'm cleaning house and I'm a mess. But
Okay.
this is Christy Metropolis. I'm a gold ambassador, and so first of all, it's like thank you so much for everything you shared today. Like a lot of that spoke to me. I've been in ministry, gosh, since 1984, and my husband passed away in 2010. So I've had a lot of different transition into what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. And just last year, I joined Plexus and really see that this company is going to give me the opportunities to secure my financial future. So I don't have to go searching for another husband to take care of me. Okay. That's just where I'm at. If you had told me 12 years ago, I'd say that. I'd say, get behind me, Satan, because all I could think about was remarriage. I wanted a husband. So I have found my completeness in Christ. I'm totally fine with being single. I live next door to one of my daughters and her husband and my 2 grandkids. So my life is full. And Plexus has just added to my community and all that. But I want to tell you that even as a minister, I was a pastor for 5 years. So of course I was in the word and prayer and everything every day. But I have been feeling the same thing like this year. Like God wants to be a part of my Plexus business. And I know if my sponsor is listening to this call, she's a pastor's wife, Sarah Byers, and, she knows who I am, and I still travel and minister some. So she may be like, oh gosh, Christy, this spoke to you. I thought you were like fully on board with praying over your Plexus business every day. But I've been convicted today. I've been challenged today to really, I guess it's more of a belief of my heart that God wants to bless this part of my life. Like, it's not just he wants to bless my ministry part, because I'm also a life coach and I do a lot of ministry over the phone to people. And, that's one of my occupations. But it's kind of like Plexus is I'm helping people with their health. And so that's not quite as spiritual. But you know what? It really is. It is spiritual, because we can't be our best selves if we're sick. We can't be our best selves if we're, sleep deprived, or we got brain fog, or, we're not pooping regularly or whatever, right? So I'm just thanking you today for your honesty and your transparency, and let you know that at the end of the day, and it's going to be a long day for me, I got a lot going on, but at the end of the day, before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to write out a plan for my daily time with Jesus to talk to him about my Plexus business. So I don't know who else got inspired today, but I just wanted to tell you I'm inspired. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. So my time was a success because I came into it like, even if just one person gets something out of this. So thank you, Christy.
Well, me too. I'm like Christy, I needed to hear this. It was a good word at a good time. Erin, thank you so much for giving us part of your Monday. And I'm like, you're really not that far from me, Erin. We need to plan some times to get together.
Not far at all. Like, we could do a day. We could have lunch together.
Totally. And I need to come to Tulsa. Look at Andrea's like, no. Andrea and Brooke Knitz, come on up here. Thank you. Yeah, everyone's in the comments. Thank you so much. I love you. I think you're such a leader. I love that. Here's something I have to remember too. Like, the Lord reserves the right to bring me through a tough situation if it's going to, 1, give him glory, 2, encourage others, and 3, humble me so that I am a much better conduit of his will. And golly, his Plexus done it. Like, getting to Diamond was like, wee! And then little did I know it'd be 7 years of just really being taught by him. So I'm thankful for that. And he gets to make those calls. So, hey guys, thank you for being on. We'll post the recording. Erin, I'll send you the recording. And if you think of any other verses, shoot them my way. But I appreciate you. You guys have a great Monday. We love you. Thanks for being on.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.